What is going on, Teach Better family? It is Wednesday. It is 5 o'clock Eastern time, which means it's time for our Teach Better brain break. I'm Jeff with the team, and you might notice that I got a little bit better looking Dave Schmittou today because Dave is not here. I've got a very special guest that I didn't tell anybody. I don't know if you know it, I didn't tell anybody, Mandy.
Oh, you didn't?
Nobody knew except Dave. Dave knew that you were coming because he wanted to make sure that it was a suitable replacement. Which really was a pretty low bar, so you were safe. But we've got Mandy.
Stars on that one, then.
Exactly. We've got Mandy here. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna chat. She's rocking the hat, so she looks like Dave. But we're gonna be hanging out. So jump in the comments. Let us know where you're at, where you watch it from, what you're taking a break from, and if you got any questions and want to chat with Mandy about something, throw that in the comments as well. We'll be back in about 60 seconds. Hi, Mandy.
Hi.
How are you?
I needed this today so bad.
I'm so happy that you feel like you needed this. I'm not sure if this is live stream, if this is Teach Better Team, if this is comedy, or if this is Jeff, but I'm going to take it either way.
I'm going to say Jeff because
that's why I have you here. Dave never gives me that one. Like it would be Teach Better for him or something. I don't know. So it's awesome to have you here. Carly's in the house.
Hey, Carly. One of my faves.
Danielle says thanks for wearing the Dave costume.
Yeah, I thought about shaving my head, and I was like,
well, that'd be a little extreme, a little Britney, but whatever.
Yeah. Gotta do what you gotta do. That
could have been interesting. We could talk through that because you could do like a whole thing where we then like chronicle the regrowth of Mandy's hair and like how's it going to come in and like is it going to be a different color or is it going to curl differently or like how long? We could take bets on how long it takes for your hair to get back where it is now. There's something there, Mandy. Like let's talk about it afterwards.
Science experiment for sure. This is my natural hair color right here. Even though I got it dyed, this is actually my natural hair color, except for the fact that I've realized I am really freaking gray. I didn't realize that. Is
it gray? I always thought you done like you do like highlights in there. No,
I used to when I was blonde.
I think I know what highlights are, so I think I know what I'm talking about.
Yep, and that's why you couldn't see it. And now that the brown is in there and it's starting to grow out, I was like, holy cow. Like I would have a white head just about if I let my hair grow.
So if we shaved it and let it grow back in, it'd probably be, would it be whiter?
It might be. It very well might be. Yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've got that like, I take forever to grow facial hair. Which, of course, when I was younger was like the worst thing ever. When I'm older, it's the best thing because like I don't have to shave as like a lot of people. But when I do, like if anything, it comes in here faster. And if I let it go for a little bit, like it gets a little bit. You can't see a ton on screen. My mom, I'll never forget the one time she's like I had it going like longer than I usually ever would, and she's like, "You're letting your beard go out?" I'm like, "Yeah, maybe a little goatee." And she goes, "Why? It's all white." And I'm like, "Oh." That was like 3 years ago, so. It's very white when it comes in, so I feel that. But I get a little bit here. I get it like right here, like right here. I get some gray.
That's where it starts.
I'm waiting for like the silver fox thing to come, but it's not happening yet. So we'll just hold on. So
yeah, I'm getting to that age where I'm getting whiskers on my chin.
I thought you
same all around. And they're black.
Were your beard's getting gray? Is that
It's coming in gray. So
Getting the
it's
whiskers on the
unfortunate.
chin. Like that's you're supposed to wait until you're a grandma for that to happen. Like you're
Yeah.
not supposed to do that yet.
Well, I
That's-
think you wait till you're a grandma until you let them go and you stop plucking them.
you stop caring about it. It doesn't matter at that point. You're like, my grandchildren love me either way, so it doesn't matter. This is an interesting topic. See, I can't talk about hair with Dave.
Yeah, well, he has no point of reference.
He's got nothing. He doesn't know what it's like. So
that's hard.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So I appreciate you wearing the hat to match Dave. So I wanted to talk real quick. Well, first off, hi Lindsay. I see Lindsay popping in there too. Mm-hmm. So it was funny. I had my cup of coffee here that I made just before I was coming down, and as I was making it, I was like flipping through your Twitter. And because I'm like, who's this Mandy person? I got to see who this is. And you posted, it's like an hour ago or something. You posted, it's one of those, something about second cup of coffee at 2:15 days or something like that. And I was just like, oh, that's funny. Cause here I am at, it was like 5 to 5 and I'm making another cup. This is number 3 for me.
Yeah.
So
I needed an extra shot, but I ended up not having time to go to Starbucks. So
you went McCafe.
I did, which I don't actually know how much caffeine is in this. I feel like I could have drank water and probably got the same amount of caffeine.
I'm not sure there's coffee in there.
It might. It
may or may not just be barbecue sauce. Like they just
sweet and sour.
Water it down a little bit, heat it up. No, actually, I've actually had a couple. It's been. I haven't had anything from McDonald's in a long time, but in my life, I've had a couple of McDonald's like McCafe stuff. They're actually pretty decent.
They're not bad tasting, but I have a feeling that it's like caramel sauce with hot cocoa.
Was it a caramel latte? Is that like what it is that you ordered, or what is it?
Caramel mocha.
Ooh,
so
caramel mocha. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, but it's definitely been an extra caffeine type of day.
What's your so you said you would have gone to Starbucks? That tells me that Starbucks is that your usual go-to if you're out and about.
That's my place of choice for sure.
What's your typical pick there?
I get a Venti white chocolate mocha with an extra shot of espresso and 2 pumps of raspberry. Yes to the whipped cream. And
that's like a $6.50, like a $7 drink, isn't it?
Well,
I'm sorry not to put you on the spot with the money, but no, hey, if you're gonna double up if you're gonna go for it, like go for it with the added pumps of what'd you say? Was it strawberry or raspberry?
Raspberry.
A little raspberry with the raspberry. So it's like a raspberry white mocha.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I had when I was a barista, I managed a Caribou when I was younger, Caribou Coffee, if you remember those guys. And I had a regular that came in. I'm trying to remember hers because it was very similar to that. It was more. So she actually did four additional shots. So it was a total of 7 shots in her thing. And then whipped cream, and then it was raspberry, but it was raspberry, and there was another. So it was a mocha with that, and then it was raspberry. When there was something else, she got something else, but it was 6 pumps of raspberry. We did a special for her because she was that customer.
Sure.
And anyway, like it ended up we rang it up the best we could because it wasn't even like you could. It was like an $8 thing, and the reason we made it for her is because she came in every single day, Monday through Sunday, and she paid with a 20 and never took a change. So we made her whatever she wanted because she always tipped really well. But this drink was just like, I'm like, I don't even know, like, there's hardly any room for it, like for the milk.
Yeah.
You're really just topping it off. So it's like a weird, like you might as well just make it like Americano with a traditional cappuccino with a dollop or something. But yeah, sometimes you need that. This is just coffee. So.
Well, and some people were responding because I put the tweet out, like what wakes you up?
Yeah, what were some of the responses you got?
Well, I think probably the one that made me laugh was, there were a couple that made me laugh, but one of them was the chocolate covered coffee beans. Have you ever had those?
So at Caribou, that was one of Caribou's things. Like we had the I can't remember I don't remember at this point, but yeah, they were chocolate covered. You get dark chocolate or milk chocolate. Yep. I love this thing. You pop a couple of those and you're like, oh, I'm waking up a little bit. Like they're just like these little energy things. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I had the first time I ever had them, we used to, when I was a tech integrator and we would have our meetings, like sometimes one of us would bring a little something for everyone. And I remember my friend Corey brought a bag of those. And I've never seen anyone drink coffee like this man drink coffee. Like insane amounts of coffee. And he had these with him and he's like, hey guys, try these. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these are so good. And I'm like eating.
Oh, you're pounding them like M&Ms.
Yes, yeah, exactly like M&Ms. And like,
then you're wired later.
Within like 15 minutes, I was doing like one of these. Like I couldn't stop moving. I think I was talking like a chipmunk, at least in my head I was doing all the things. They're like, yeah, take those away from Mandy. She doesn't get those anymore.
Yeah,
like,
Mandy gets 3 now. That's it. No more. Yeah, they were good. I'm trying to think, I can't remember what Caribou called them. I don't know did you guys have Caribou in your, well, probably in your, because it was started out west.
We don't
just like Starbucks was.
We don't have one here, but I know there's one like in Milwaukee. There's
so Ohio cut, I think, all of them. I mean, years ago, and they because they own Pete's Coffee too. So a lot of them switched to Pete's Coffee. Now you can still find like Caribou, like Keurig and stuff like that in stores, some stuff like that, and there are some down south, like in Atlanta, there's Caribou's and stuff like that. But there isn't, like in Ohio, they're all gone. They shut down a lot of stores like probably 10 years ago or so. My store is like a woodwork store now, the one that I used to run. So it's been a long time. It was a Pete's Coffee for like 2 weeks, I think, and then went away. But interesting. This is a good conversation about coffee. That was an interesting job. So I was in this, and so we opened at 5 a.m. every day, right? So I went in at typically about 4 a.m. By 4:45, like I had a line, like a legit line at my door, just waiting. Like, and they weren't like waiting and paid. They were just hanging out because they knew we were open at 5 and they wanted to be in and get their coffee right away. And I'm talking like, people in their 60s, 70s, people in their 30s, 40s, kids that were getting ready before they went, because there was there's a very high performing like academy in that city that I did it in. Like, so kids, I was just like, it was crazy. I used to always say like the tips and stuff. I'm like, dude, when you're a barista, you have regulars, you're like their drug dealer. Like,
yeah.
But the one they really love, they never rob you. They just love you, like that kind of drug dealer. Like, it's crazy. So
the drug dealer that always provides the good stuff.
It's good service, Yeah. So you did little things like when you saw, you saw Mike in line. You knew that Mike was a cop. He had to get back on the road. So by the time Mike got up, his coffee was ready and it was good and out, and that got me out of the ticket once. And but like like the woman I was talking about, like we knew when she came in, we started making it because it took a while to make that drink, right? And just but it's great. But they tipped really well. It was fun. It was it's a fun job. I liked it. Anyway, so what was it today that made today like need an extra cup of coffee day? And I'm an extra cup of coffee with an extra shot, and you were willing to do McCafe. So like you needed it.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Like, I kind of
was it the pressure of trying to fill Dave's shoes? Is that what it was?
It wasn't.
Good,
actually,
because that shouldn't be a thing. I'm glad you're honest with all of us.
Well, you know me, brutal honesty. Like if there's anything you're going to get from me, that's going to be it.
That's all I look for.
I've had a crazy week, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been continuous 14-hour days and just, I can't seem to catch a break. It's like, it's just one of those days. So yeah,
brain break caught.
Absolutely. And I had one of those days where I did all the emotions today. Like I did all of them. And if there was a list.
Right. So this is this is a story time, but we're also getting into like your specialty anyway. So this will be good. So take us through the list. Take us through all the emotions.
Oh my gosh. So this morning was exhaustion. And I got through that. I had a I don't know, some guy over to the house to like measure for new countertops today, and he was a little obnoxious. Obnoxious isn't very nice. Like he wasn't quite obnoxious, but like straddling that line. And so
was it the pressure of trying to fill Dave's shoes?
Whoa, what just happened? My audio went all weird.
Did audio come through?
Yeah.
That was me. So sorry. Okay. No, I'm just going to tell. I brought up, I have our group over on another screen so that I can see people comment on the show. And I didn't realize that my audio came through. So apparently my audio, because I'm like, I never started the video of our live video over there. So I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. So I have to start it and like hit mute really quick. But apparently it came through my mic. So you got to hear me saying something. So
I did.
That just adds, now you can add confused to the emotions you felt today. So.
Right? Because it was a question question you had already asked me, and I'm like, hang on.
Listen, that right there is sort of how my day's going right there. Like I'm just constantly putting my audio through the wrong thing, I guess. So anyway.
Yeah, it's a confused. Okay, so we'll add that. But yeah, at one point I had like I was running a meeting with Girls Who Game. So I actually had the girls on there, and I got a call that my son's car is not working to the tune of $2,000, and we're supposed to leave for Florida on Friday. He's not going to be able to get back home, which means I'm going to have to drive 3 hours to get him, drive 3 hours back. I had like which is a significant part of your day when you're trying to like get things.
Well, yeah.
And and then I just had about 7 different messages come in that same meeting. I started tearing up at one point because I'm like, oh, I might have a nervous breakdown right in front of these high school girls. Like this might happen. And so I was angry and I was irritated and now confused. I was happy right before this, excited. I was feeling like Dave, so I had all the feels going on today.
All right, so I want to hone in on feels like you feel like Dave. Is that envy? Is that confidence? Is that arrogance? Is that ignorance? Is that like what is that? What is that feeling when you feel like Dave? Like
let's define.
Right now, it's probably envy. Like Dave is envying me, but
well, sure.
I want to know what that feeling is. Like you just described it.
That might be. I don't know.
How about we leave that out to everybody who's watching? If you're watching right now, think of if you felt a Dave or a feeling that you would, or emotion that you would describe as the emotion of Dave Schmittou. Like, what would that emotion be? I'd like to know that. I wanted to. You mentioned it in passing. What you were doing there is it Girls Who Game? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that? That caught my. I feel like I've heard you talk about this before, but for some reason I'm gonna act like I don't.
Yeah. So one of the organizations that I work through, which is Advanced Learning Partnerships, they work in partnership with Dell, and Dell has started a Girls Who Game program. And so what it is it's super interesting to me. It's like so much more than it sounds like, which I think is what's made it interesting for me as well. It's working with Minecraft. So when they first asked me to do it, they said, well, would you lead the girls through Minecraft? And I'm like, I don't Minecraft. Like that's not that Mario Kart, maybe like a little Guitar Hero now and then. Minecraft, no. So I actually had to become certified in Minecraft. But what they do is they have challenges every season where they right now ALP puts together the challenges, and they grab a couple of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And the challenge is the girls have to create something while addressing those UN Sustainable Development Goals.
Inside the world of Minecraft.
Inside the world of Minecraft, right. So like, for example, this challenge was they had to build a city or a futuristic type town that addressed both the gender equality and the sustainable energy. So that was kind of so they had to build the city in Minecraft, and they do everything from it goes elementary school to high school. They do everything from like some of them code, some of them focus on women in tech a little bit more. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that they do, and it really is. I basically don't coach the girls typically. I coach the coaches. So
and are those coaches typically like teachers inside a district? And I guess furthermore, my other question is like the girls that are doing this, are they all typically from a district working together? Is this like a district thing, or is it like coming together, or like they can be anywhere like together? Like how do the teams formed?
It's like a district or a school.
Okay.
So like we have districts and schools participating all over the US and all over Canada.
But they're each doing their own types of things.
Yep.
Going off. Okay, gotcha.
So then it's a competition. So it reminds me a little bit of like Destination Imagination, or it used to be called Odyssey of the Mind. I don't know if you.
Yeah. I'm actually aware of that because my wife was in it and did that stuff. So she's told me about it in our time. So I'm gonna act like I listened.
I did that too. So now pretend that you're listening to me.
Okay. So this is what I do when I'm listening to my wife.
Is that? Oh,
Yeah. I
that's
have
so
to
sweet.
focus really, really intent. Otherwise, I start thinking of other things.
So we have so in Destination Imagination, you have to solve a problem and then you go to competition and you show
Yeah.
how you solve the problem. It's
Yep.
very similar to how this is run. So they have the season to build whatever the challenge is and address that. And then they send their creation, a video of their creation and what they did to judges, and the judges score
So
them.
all the different schools from all over are sending it all in, and then that's the competition is
right.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's
it's
cool.
it's really interesting. And honestly, like the things that these kids come up with blow my mind every single time. Every time.
Yeah.
It is insane. And I went into this, even this last season, I went into this challenge thinking to myself, wow, showing like gender equality is going to be really hard. Like, how do you visually show gender equality when you don't really have people? Like, there's no real, I mean, you can have like the non-player characters in Minecraft.
Yeah, but they all pop out the same, right? Unless you mod it.
Right.
So sorry, I have a question about that, but go ahead and finish your thought.
So I just thought it was going to be really difficult. And when I listened to the girls talk about what they were doing and their ideas, I was like, holy cow, I would not have come up with that. That is brilliant. So it's so much fun working with the kids.
So are they allowed to code in and mod?
Mm-hmm.
They're allowed to build that. And
well, they're allowed to code if they know how. A lot of times the girls don't know how. So, and there's so much to focus on, and the seasons are kind of short. So like, sometimes, obviously like women in tech is a big focus of Girls Who Game as well, because we're trying to show them that they can do these things and what's out there. And, so that can be a pathway that the team sort of spend a lot of time on, or a lot of times they have to learn about the UN Sustainable Development Goals because they just don't know.
Hard to create and solve a problem if you don't have to study. I mean, they got to truly understand it first. Yeah, that's really cool.
Right. And then even like this, this go around, they had to study how, how cities are addressing clean energy and things like that. They had to, so there's a lot that goes into it over just building in Minecraft. I would actually say that the building part is probably the smallest piece of it.
Because they have to figure out how they're going to address the problem first, right? And then they're essentially then creatively displaying that through the building of Minecraft, right? I mean, that's cool. Yeah, that game. Like my son's been playing that since he's 9 now. He's been playing it for probably 4 years or whatever. And just like his knowledge of what goes with what to create what, like, and all that type of stuff. I'm like he knows it all. I'm like, how do you know that? But you don't, like, I can't get you to remember anything else. Like, you don't know what I just said 3 seconds ago. But you can create potions like for days. Like it's nuts. And then my daughter, who's 6, like they sit down and she's like, Jonathan, what's the potion for da da da? And he's like, da da da. She's like, oh yeah, that's right. And like, I'm like, I don't. What did you like? All right, Dad's just gonna build. I'm gonna build my cat. Like I always build castles. That's what when they want me to play. Like, Jack, can you come in our world and build a castle? Because I build good castles. They like me building. That's all I do. And then they each get a room in a castle, which they
move or
what's that?
Do they move, or do you have like elevators or?
No, I have castles. Like I build them like castles, like in whenever castles were built. And then I create my knights in emerald armor with my horses, and that's my thing. And then there's usually a room that's my daughter's room, and she like decorates it with purple carpet, all this and like crazy stuff. I'm like, babe, this doesn't make sense in the castle. You're done. And so we have a new, like, typically my rules, I'm like, I will play. But Daddy's building his castle. You don't come within my walls. If you want me to play, like I'm like, this is how it's going to go. And the best part is what usually happens is they eventually, like after a couple hours, like they might be done or they got to go to bed, and I'm like, yeah, I'll be up in a little bit. I got to finish.
I got to finish the castle.
I'm playing with the kids, and my wife's like, they're in bed. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm still playing with them. So. My wife.
It's kind of a good brain break. It's fun.
Like it's it's fun to like try to figure out like, all right, how do I make this look like a table, like a dinner table or a sink, and because they don't just have like a sink thing, you know what I mean? Like, so it's interesting. Yeah, figure out how to make a TV turn on and off with a remote that doesn't exist, but like Jonathan does, like he has traps, like so you're walking around and you just like fall into a thing of lava, and he's like, I got you in my trap. I'm like, it's grass, dude. That's kind of mean. I'm your father, but whatever. So that's interesting. So I'm interested in this whole Girls Who Game thing. So it's just girls, obviously, in this program, right? Mm-hmm. Are they and you? I don't know if you know this or not, like because you said you work more with the coaches than with the students themselves, right? But are a lot of these students then going on? Is the program seeing them go on into like gaming, like either in programming, design, or competition and stuff like that? Or I don't know how far in you get to go into that or not, but.
Well, right now the program's only been around for 3 seasons.
So not what's a season? Semester or
like a semester. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And so it's been like it was my understanding is that it was planned and then like they started to implement it and then the pandemic hit, and so like right now it's been a little bit of a struggle because a lot of the girls are still virtual. Or if they, even if they aren't virtual, their club times are virtual. They're not allowed to meet as clubs. And so that's been a little bit weird. So I would say that like, if I were Girls Who Game, like whoever runs the program, I wouldn't even attempt to start pulling data until after the pandemic's over, you know?
Gotcha. Yeah. I was just curious. Yeah. Like whether, if the program was attracting girls who are, like what part of it was attracting the girls? Is it the interest in like STEM and that type of career? Is it the interest in solving these world problems, or is it the interest in like gaming because they want to get into programming, coding, competition, whatever that might be? That's just curiosity going. So.
Yeah, I think overall, from what I've seen, it's the interest in Minecraft.
Yeah, probably drives it. Yeah, and which is good because then they're not even realizing how much they're learning, right? In a lot of these cases, right? Because they're just embedded in that world and stuff,
right?
Yeah, the whole world of like esports and all that stuff, just for me, is ridiculously interesting. So,
I think too, esports has helped in the way that like girls see a lot of boys join esports and they want to, but they feel weird, you know, because like as a girl, that's. Sometimes, you know, you feel like awkward around groups of boys and that kind of stuff. And especially in middle school and, you know, so I think what's happening is these girls are seeing boys playing esports, and this is an opportunity for them to play Minecraft without having to worry about that whole social anxiety.
Yeah, because who knows, you know, might get picked on just because I'm a girl playing Minecraft today, right? You know, Which is
but which is that, I mean, it's, you know, that happens at that age and stuff. So I think that, but it's been a lot of fun. It's been challenging, trying just like watching the districts go through their changes and the teachers trying to keep up with the, you know, with Minecraft and stuff. I mean, I can't even imagine they're true saints for sure, but it's been a lot of fun.
Interesting. That's cool. So what else is going on in your world? What else you got going on? So that was pretty cool. That took us on a little ride. I enjoyed that. Like, I mean, everybody watches knows exactly how our conversation went beforehand. I went, hey, Mandy, I don't know what we're going to talk about, so good luck, right?
And I said, and I think my answer was, well, I'm going to look like Dave today. So
and I said, well, then everything's fine then, right? We'll be fine. Like, as long as people think that Dave is here, we should be fine.
Yeah.
Oh man. So
I'm trying to think of the things that Dave would say. Like
please don't say the things that that's me. I say dude a lot.
Okay.
That's why my nieces and nephew call me Uncle Dude. No joke. So but what else is going on with you? So I mean, because you do a lot of work with individual teachers, with districts, with organizations and stuff like this. So any other exciting projects going on right now, or things you're trying to get into because they're just grabbing your attention? What's taking up? You're working like 14-hour days. What's taking up all these days? There's got to be something in there that you're enjoying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I enjoy most of my work, I think.
I know. Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
it's been the pandemic, of course, has changed it just a little bit, and I'm starting
Yeah.
to get out of that, which is great. But I always fall into sort of these two camps. You know, I have the ed tech stuff and the mental health stuff. And I just had
Mhm.
a district want to bring me out for 5 days, and I'm doing mental health workshops every day for 5 days. I am
Nice.
so super excited about
And
that.
you're going, like you're going
Yep.
too?
Yep. Yep. I'm actually going. So it's in. I have travel plans starting in June, but this particular one is in July, and they are bringing me out for 5 days. They're allowing teachers to choose. They have some sort of like system that they reward. I don't know. It's something for
Okay.
they get something anyway. But
They get
have
time with Mandy. That's what they get.
that's the biggest reward. Yeah. I don't know. I'm getting. I
For 5 days, but you're not necessarily going to be with all the teachers all 5 days. You're going to have groups. They get to pick what they're
Correct.
doing with you or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, so
nice.
they've kind of capped the amount of people who can sign up for one of the workshops or whatever. But
Gotcha.
you know, yeah, we're doing stuff on SEL, and we're doing mental health, and we're doing. I mean, just I'm doing an entire like 2-hour mindfulness workshop for people to actually. You know, I'm going to run them through some mindfulness strategies so that
Gotcha.
they've practiced them and they know how to do them. And it's a lot of really, you know, that kind of stuff is fun to me, even though it's mental health and like, but I love supporting people that way and, you know, giving them actual strategies to use versus just the, feel better stuff, you know, like
sure.
this doesn't work that way, you know? So, so I have that. And then the other thing that I have gotten a ton of requests for lately is the will you take the pandemic learning we've been doing and turn it into an actual virtual program? That's been my other request a lot. So, which I think is great because what happened is districts found out that, wow, some kids actually do learn better this way.
Yeah, and we're seeing that too. We're seeing some that go the complete other way. We're seeing some that are like, yeah, we just want to always offer either a virtual or a hybrid option now because for some it worked really well. So you're doing work with them to say, okay, like how do we, when we're actually like the majority of everyone's coming back to full-time in person, how do we take what we've learned, what we've done, and create a whole new option for the students? Is that what that is?
Yeah. So I was actually helping to create virtual programs prior to the pandemic. That was like one of the things I was doing. And I always think that I think that this change is interesting because when I was building them from the ground up, everything is new when you build from the ground up, you know, and I learned this when I was a tech integrator, we did a full one-to-one rollout with, 20,000 students. And I was there from the beginning to the end of the rollout. But when I became a tech director, I actually had to do a re-rollout. So the first rollout didn't go well. So we had to kind of like pull things back and re-roll them out. That it sounds like it would be easier, but it's actually got its own challenges because you're trying to change behavior that's been established versus establishing it in the first place. Sure. And so for these, creating the virtual programs off from the pandemic learning, can be a challenge because I actually, like if I'm going to work with a district, I require that I re-teach the teachers online learning.
Because it's different than learning the pandemic because the situation is different. Yeah. So you are, you're changing something that's already in place because it's not quite the same. Yeah. So it is.
And in many cases, the type of teaching that teachers were doing during the pandemic is unsustainable. And so so that's one of the reasons why I say, no, I need to sit down with your teachers and see what they're doing and how we can change it. Not because what they were doing was wrong, but because it was never meant to be sustainable.
It's serving a different purpose. This was, we were moving because we had to. A lot of cases it was emergency versus now seeing the benefit and trying to create a more value add for the district to the students. Exactly. Yeah, that's an interesting, but you got to teach yourself like, oh, I've done this for a year. So why do I need to relearn this? I've already done it. And it's like, well, yeah, but you're doing it for a different reason. That's
right.
Yeah, I can definitely see the challenge in that. So.
Yeah.
But that's also exciting. That's that's us. We've been talking for the last year about like hopefully we're pulling the good out of this bad situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that has the opportunity to potentially be a good thing out of a bad situation if it works for certain kids.
Right. Yeah. And I think it has the potential to be really, a powerful learning experience. And I was actually reading something the other day. I think it was from Bright Bites, a district who does Bright Bites, which is like if you're not familiar with Bright Bites, it's like a kind of a bi-yearly survey that teachers can take in regards to technology professional development that should ideally drive the professional development the teachers get in technology. So we have some districts around here that do it. And I was reading one of the results, and in kind of the summary that the tech director had made, he said that their Bright Bites survey, they've been doing Bright Bites for years. And he said their Bright Bites survey showed that teachers over the course of the pandemic made what they think is about 4 years of growth in technology learning in 1 year, as opposed to what they've seen in the past. And I thought that was really telling, first of all, how awesome teachers are.
Sure.
But also really fantastic data to show what people put themselves through over the course of the last year in order to really do what was best for students.
Yeah.
4 years worth of technology.
Well, and when you talk to tech integration specialists or tech people who were in any sort of support position around tech, that's like, it was all these people that a lot of the teachers that never really wanted to talk to them, never wanted to try things, came flocking. So they had to, right? Because they were like, I didn't want to do anything with it. Now they had to. That's 4 years. That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Like,
yeah.
That is a lot. I don't want to, that was a really good point. I don't want to that was really cool. I don't want to bring it down, but like, he's here. So we're just going to have to kind of lower our standards for a second.
Before you brought me on, I was just sitting there in awe. Keep talking.
She nailed the hat pretty stinking close. I'll tell you what, like,
pulls off way better than I do.
Like, I mean,
you're not bald under there too, are you?
I almost went there.
We almost got her there today. I'm not done trying. So like we talked about Mandy going bald, Dave. I think what could be more fun though, Mandy, is for us to recreate a wig that looks just like your hair, and we give that to Dave.
Done. Maybe flashbacks to high school.
Yeah. So then the next time, do I have to put facial hair on too? Because like I said, I could probably do some of that.
Just let him go. Don't stop plucking for a couple of back. It'll be great.
It's very similar.
It'll be good. Well, at least somebody's happy to see Dave. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm okay.
I told Mandy, I'm like, he might jump in, he might not. I don't know. He was doing all professor things today, so.
And she's like, "Oh man."
End of the I've been trying to do professor stuff too. End of the semester is rough.
All the things for all the people right now because they're leaving for the summer, so they need it all done right now.
Yeah. Yesterday.
So Dave, we talked about how today was a so needed coffee in the afternoon. Stopped at Mick Cafe to get her fancy foo drink for Mandy. And when I read that on her Twitter, I was making my cup of coffee, which is the third, which is at 4:45 p.m. Has it been I need additional coffee, I need late coffee day for you, or are you maybe balancing us out with a better day?
So
my day wasn't bad. I just needed more coffee.
Yesterday was a 6-cup day, with the last one being a Starbucks run at 7 p.m. So today I'm kind of like in detox. Yeah, so I've just been chugging water today. When you're hungover from coffee, the day before was rough. So yeah,
that's true.
What?
Speaking of hangover, like if I had to choose right now, like I feel like alcohol would probably be my drink of choice. I'm not gonna lie.
All right,
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
I'm not even gonna lie. So, Mandy, I made a list, and I didn't even bring it up because I'm like, no, I'm not even go there. I was thinking, like, what am I gonna talk to Mandy about? Maybe let's ask her like a whole bunch of random questions, and one of my questions was gonna be shaken or stirred, and then I figured, I'm like, oh, that'll get us into something. So you brought it up though. If it was what would be the drink right now if it wasn't a foo drink from McCafe?
So I'm actually not a big alcohol drinker. I'm not. So
I don't think any of us are. We just joke about it on here a lot. So I
Yeah.
think that's a good statement to put out there.
So I'm a cheap date, basically. Is what that boils down to.
That's good.
I really love Moscow mules.
Okay.
Because all your
those are my
friends are in
favorite.
Pittsburgh. Yeah.
I
That's
love
true.
Moscow mules. But then the other thing I just discovered, I don't think I can live without it. So it's kind of like Bailey's. I got it from this place that's local that they brew moonshine, like straight up moonshine, and they have like 60 different kinds of moonshine. And so I had gone in there, and it's like 40 proof. It's just like Bailey's, except it is pecan. What's that ice cream? It's like something pecan.
Pecan praline? No.
No.
I don't know.
Pecan something.
I'll find out.
No.
I know what you're talking about because my dad loves this type of ice cream. Pecan, pecan supreme. What? I don't know. Dave, figure that out. Whatever.
Yeah.
So it tastes
Whatever.
like some sort of pecan ice cream.
Yeah. So it's like a pecan ice cream that's
Butter
melted
pecan?
down.
Is it
Butter
pecan?
pecan.
Yes.
Not the butter pecan. Sorry.
You can't
Yes.
say
Google.
pecan. You have to say pecan, and then
Pecan.
it makes sense.
Butter
yeah.
pecan.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, it's like you melt down butter pecan and you put in alcohol. It is the best stuff on the planet. It's unbelievable.
I feel like that might be better than that peanut butter whiskey I discovered
Is
last
it?
year.
Oh, I
That
don't
sounds
know,
amazing.
man. Peanut butter. I saw Dave. I'm not even joke. On my, we use the Alexa, like the list for our shop, and it's still on there. Peanut butter whiskey, because I just haven't bought it yet. Like, because where I normally go get my groceries doesn't have like an alcohol like that, like hard alcohol. Like, so I need to stop. Like, it's still on my list from how long ago was that? 6 months ago, probably.
Yeah.
When you talked about that, yeah. So
At
one day
least
I'll
we
get
know
it.
Dave and I are not like beer. We're like, we go for the whiskey.
Some whiskey, some bourbon, some Moscow mules. That's it.
Yeah.
It's the
Well,
hard
well, oddly enough, though, Dave's typically drinking beer.
Well, yeah, because I'm normally running around. I just go to the fridge. It's not like I'm drinking the the red, white, and what is the thing that you drink?
Oh, my red, white, and berries. Oh, I freaking love
Yeah.
those Smirnoff Ice, man. I don't
Yeah.
care because I forget that they have alcohol on. I literally grab them like I would grab a Gatorade, which is not good, but like these things are delicious. They're
peanut butter
refreshing.
whiskey.
I would normally do some, bourbon is what I would typically roll with. So
Yeah.
some sort of bourbon. But
Man, are you just finding out about this peanut butter whiskey thing for the first time right now?
oh, you didn't? Oh, yeah.
Feel about peanut
my
butter
gosh.
whiskey, but
So,
Dave's all about it.
I got-
Dave like puts
let
it on
me
his ice
introduce you
cream
to
and
this.
stuff.
Let me introduce you to this because it will change your world. So when I first got it too, I was like, I like peanut butter. I like whiskey. Let's see how this works. And then people just started coming out of the woodwork with recipes. I'll give you some things not to try. If somebody suggests try it with grape soda for like peanut butter and jelly, don't do it.
Ooh,
I tried it. It's disgusting. But if you mix it, like seriously, you pour it over like ice cream, or even I tried pouring it into rice pudding. Oh my gosh.
Ooh, that
Oh
does
my
sound.
gosh. Or bread pudding. Oh, then you get the best of every world. So
Is it good
You
just
gotta
over
do it.
ice?
It's good straight out of the
Typically
bottle.
like
Don't get me
my-
wrong.
Bourbon over ice.
I don't know. It's the whiskey part. Like I feel like,
but it's the peanut butter part.
Well, I mean, you gotta like whiskey, I think, first, or else that's gonna
No,
be.
you
gotta-
don't. No,
No,
you
you
don't.
don't. Oh, okay, maybe
No.
you don't. I guess.
Especially if you like people that are in here saying like they mix it with chocolate milk or just even just white milk, it changes the game. You might actually start to like whiskey.
huh?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty sure if you're drinking peanut butter whiskey, that's probably not your. I guess that's a good way to start liking whiskey, but you're probably not gonna like whiskey at that point.
It's like starting with Miller Lite before you get to the craft beers or the stouts, right? You got to start small and then you get there. So
That's
maybe.
I don't know.
okay,
I don't know that. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like I remember how I said that I can't really handle alcohol. Like I feel like if I discovered something like that, it would be bad. Like I would just
well, you're welcome.
be walking around drunk all the time.
And I want to, right now at this point, I think I need to apologize to everybody that was watching. You guys have this amazing conversation about tech and how amazing teachers are. And then Schmidt's here. And now let's just talk about whiskey.
I don't remember any of it anyway. All I'm remembering is this whiskey talk. we've had a good conversation. We talked about Mandy's hair.
Mhm.
We talked about
Coffee.
we talked about coffee. We talked about Girls Who Game,
Yep.
which was a good majority because I'm still interested. I got it up on my on one of my tabs to explore more.
Yep.
And then we were talking about just the awesomeness of teachers and this tech and doing learning from the pandemic. And then Dave comes in and it's just plummets.
Nosedive.
Par for course.
Just plummets. Which sounds about right. So that's great. Okay, so
We
all
did.
right,
We did talk about Dave's emotions.
Oh no.
Well, Mandy
No.
took us on all the
Let me ask,
emotions.
Who brought it up? Was it Mandy or Jeff? Because
Well,
huh. I'm gonna go back.
Mandy took us on like the emotional ride that she was on today and all the different emotions. And one of the emotions she mentioned was Dave emotions or something. And so we were trying to figure out what is that. And someone said, pretty sure Dave just is all the emotions or all the feels lately.
the
So
feels.
we just left it at that, I think. So you're just like all of them wrapped up. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. All right. So interesting stuff. So my daughter lost a tooth today. That's exciting. That's about my excitement.
How
there for the
expensive does
day.
that get now? What's the going rate?
Oh, just they get it's $5 for the first and then $1.
Okay.
Wow.
So except for when
Your tooth fairy is cheap.
so she lost one on New Year's Day or whatever, and like we called my when did it was my brother, and he's like, yeah, and then my brother's just like talking to her and tells her how that means she gets 25. I'm like, really? And he's like, have fun. I'm like, so she got more for that one, yeah. So she's been working on this one for a while. She's on a live meet with her class, and she's like, Dad, I need something. And I come over, I'm like, what's going on? And she's blood everywhere because she like popped like the vessel, like as she's messing with it. There's blood everywhere. I'm like, are you still? I'm like, you're still on camera. Like all your classmates see you just waiting. Like, and she had like all of her hands because she was touching it, so it looked worse than it actually was. But and then about a half hour later, she's like, well, it came out, Dad. I'm like, all right. So
that might
These
be
are
one of the
super.
grossest things to do as a parent. Like I change diapers, do all the things, but when you hear the popping of tooth and the
it's so weird because I remember when I was younger, like I can recall like loving it, right? Like playing with it and popping. Like, but when I see her do it, I'm like, like stop. And she knows it now, so she comes over and she's like, Dad, look, it's making the noise. Like, and she's moving.
Does she make
like,
you like do it too, so you can feel like the?
She'll ask. Yeah, today was funny though because earlier was where she pushed it in right here, like you could see like the top. And I'm like, oh yeah, I can see the top. And she's like, look, you can see it from the other side. I'm like, how am I supposed to see the other side? She's like, well, just look in my mouth. I'm like, this is hilarious. And that was where I was at today, so it was great. But yeah, it came out, so that's exciting. So we get to do that tonight, which is good. So yeah.
Have you ever forgotten? I was so bad at the tooth fairy.
I feel like
you mean the tooth fairy.
Same.
What do you mean
Ernie.
you forget? What do you mean you forget?
I mean the tooth fairy.
Has the tooth fairy ever
I
flown
was
past the house?
terrible at reminding the tooth fairy that she needed to
ruin
come to our
Dave's
house.
childhood right there.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's a quick way to get yourself banned from the brain break.
The tooth fairy forgot just that they got overwhelmed and busy, or
no, it's that she doesn't love you. Like that's
well,
it's the same reason you didn't get what you asked for Christmas.
Favorite children, yes. I have 4 kids. I can't love them all. I mean, my tooth fairy only came for the favorite one. That was the only one that.
Well, let's play that game, Mandy. Who is your favorite? Let's just cut right to the chase.
I have 4 kids. I can't love them all.
Just too much pressure. No, the tooth fairy, her and I didn't have very good communication skills. And so a lot of times, I would forget to send her the note that I would have to send in order for the tooth fairy to come. And they really did make out because like if she forgot to come the first night, we gave $5 a tooth. She came the second for 10. So it wasn't like they totally missed out because I would feel so guilty. I can't even tell you how much money I spent on my kids' teeth. Like,
okay, here's
my kids would end up with like debit cards or Amazon gift cards or something like that. I don't know.
We should just be doing like V-Bucks or something for
Yeah.
Fortnite. Not to continue to gross out Marie, who doesn't like the teeth, but some people keep them all. Do you keep them all or do you toss them?
Okay, so
Oh, she's got a confession.
no, I hate teeth. I hate teeth. I hate toes. Well, I hate feet in general. I really dislike toenails. Toenails are a no-go. I don't want to see anybody's toenails. I really hate boogers. Like, no. Really hate boogers. So I didn't keep the teeth, but what happened was years ago, I was going through, I was looking for something I was looking for like a key or something that we kept to get into our safe. And my husband at the time had kept it in this box. It's like it looked like a pirate's chest.
Okay.
And I opened it up and all the kids' teeth were sitting on the top. Just loose.
Wait, hold on. That was the story he told you, is that they were the kids' teeth, right?
with a bunch of Polaroids of all their toes too, like just because.
Oh.
So none of them were marked. None of them were like, I don't know whose teeth they were. We have 4 kids. Like when you're talking about all of their teeth,
that's a lot of teeth.
Significant amount of teeth, and they were all just there. And
I can't believe Marie's still watching at this point.
Exactly. And that was pretty much Marie pretty much hit it on the head. Like that was my reaction too. Like, no. Like, why is this here? And we joked at one point about taking them all out and putting them in like our jack-o'-lanterns and having like,
that's
but yeah, so I did not. I would never keep teeth.
What about like, did you do like the first lock of hair, like the first cut? Like, did you save any of that? Like some parents save that too. Like,
yeah, I have one, my favorite child, apparently. I did keep his. But that one child is the only one that I have.
Is it the first? Is it the first? Because
no, it was, this particular child was my second, but yeah.
So, because I can totally see like the first is your first kid, so you do all those things, and by the second one, you're like, But yours was the second, so that's very telling about your first. Yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah.
just hopefully none of them are watching right now. But
yeah, it was.
Yeah, look out, Ray. We're talking about teeth right now. Be careful.
Yeah. Did you guys?
Now, to be fair, Ray, we're not in this deep conversation, so I think we're doing good. It's just probably didn't go the way that we should have.
I feel like Dave is the type to keep teeth. But
I actually have a necklace that I just every time I like drill a hole and add it to the necklace.
Because you have quite a few kids too. So did you only keep 4. Like the bicuspids or whatever the heck they're called? Is that a thing? That might only be in animals.
It's a weird dynamic though. Like, do you just throw it in the garbage, or do you bury a hole out back, or do you flush it down the toilet like a goldfish? What do you do?
We just keep their incisors so that I can. So every now and then, what I do is I glue theirs on and I pretend like I'm a vampire because it extends mine a little bit. And that's what I do with them. That's how we do it.
Of course. What I wouldn't
it's not like all the time, just on Fridays. Like that's the only time I do it. Like it's not like every day.
You make like one of those like plastic mouth things that happen at Halloween but you just make it out of real teeth.
It's just like, I cut off the fake one and put the real ones on. Kind of like jack-o'-lantern only with me. Like it's
not fun unless they're real.
And then I walk around and tell everyone these are my kids' teeth. And that's how I examine jail cells every Halloween. Really. I don't know. This is getting a little bad. I don't do any of that. We do have ours kept, but we have them separated. But we're like, but it's because we were both like, are we supposed to keep these? Like, well, let's keep them for now, and then we'll probably throw them out at some point. But just in case, I don't know.
You give them to them on their wedding day? Like, what are you going to do with them someday? Who wants that?
Pass them on to your grandchildren.
So I got my teeth, which is weird. But my mom kept. My mom, I don't know what I'm pretty sure about, but like my mom kept everything. But my mom also scrapbooked like everything in our lives. Like,
I'm not letting you pass this up. What did you do with your teeth, Jeff?
I don't know.
Are they like with your baseball cards and stuff, or what?
Where are your teeth? Again?
Well, no, they were with like.
Could you go proactive and make your dentures? Could you make dentures out of your own teeth and be prepared for the day
That'd
that
be weird because they're little teeth. They're little teeth. They're little teeth.
That would
They're
be
big.
awesome.
That could be
so
awesome.
Like just little, you have like little giblet teeth all over in your mouth.
That's that could be that. Yeah, that I don't. I want to say it came like she gave them to me with. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I don't think it was all of them. I think it was like the first two or something like that. I don't know. My mom preserved like every memory she possibly could when we were kids. Like I feel like a horrible parent because I don't do that like my mom used to. Like I have scrapbooks where I could go literally like see my entire life if I wanted to, which is great because I don't remember half it. So like
phone, so you can take a picture of it. You don't need to keep the tooth.
I understand. We kept it because we don't know what to do. We feel like my wife and I commonly feel like we're like our moms knew what they were doing and we don't know what we're doing. We're like we still feel like we're like teenagers trying to figure out how to be parents, even though we're almost 40. And I'm like, I think we should have this figured out by now, but we don't.
So do you wash them off and like sanitize them, or if they had, or
I don't know. I put them in the thing and then I just put them in Amy's drawer and she can see what happens later.
I just glossed over something. I want to ask Mandy this. Mandy, have you gotten to the point in your life where you actually feel like you're an adult, or do you still like look around and be like, I had to make these decisions? Like, doesn't it feel like somebody else should help you make decisions in life?
I feel like there was a moment like probably 10 years ago where I wanted to have ice cream for breakfast. And I went like, oh, I can't have ice cream for breakfast. And then I was like,
yes, I can.
I can have ice cream for breakfast. I'm an adult. And since that day, I feel like I got this. Like I'm an adult. I can have ice cream for breakfast. Like that was the turning point for me.
By the way, Ray is love. I'm thinking loving that we're going this way now. So let's keep this going. So here's a question going off of that because I have the same thing where it's like I'm like one of the greatest things about being an adult is that you can have ice cream for breakfast or cake for lunch or whatever. Yeah. But one of the worst things about being an adult is that you can have ice cream for breakfast or cake for lunch because no one's going to stop you from making those bad decisions. So are you an adult when you're able to make that decision and have ice cream for breakfast, or are you really an adult when you know that that's not the right thing to have for breakfast?
That's a good question. So if you think you're an adult because you're having the ice cream for breakfast, that's really
because you can, right?
Like you're just really living the kid's life.
Yeah, like that you're really just the kid who got left home alone with ice cream and no one's checking. But like when is that I'm trying I try to think I'm like did I ever see my dad like sneak an ice cream for breakfast? Like did that ever happen? I just didn't realize it. Like, or is that just me?
I saw my mom.
Because I have so many moments now where
out of the box in the fridge.
See, that's how I know I'm an adult is when I'm worried about what my kids see me doing, because that's right. I have some things for breakfast and for dinner and for lunch that I'm looking around thinking, oh, they're going to think I'm a lush because it could be breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
You just so you sneak them instead. So you lie to your children by sneaking it into your.
Wow.
We don't lie to our children. We fib.
No, we do.
Is hiding the same as lying? That's a great question.
I would say that's a deep question.
Is telling them something other than the truth lying? Is that what that is? Is that lying?
What, tooth fairy?
Well, yeah. So is that a good lie?
Do your kids know that you keep their teeth?
No, that goes to the tooth fairy.
Oh, right. Okay.
Like that's my thing. Is I'm like, what are we gonna do? He's gonna be like, hey, the day that they're like, hey, mom, dad, I figured out that there's no tooth fairy. But I'm like, thank God, here, take these. Like, I want my money back too. By the way, I'm checking these back. It's like keeping the bottles in Michigan, getting my money back or whatever. Like I don't know,
5 cents a tooth.
Yeah, like 5 cents a tooth. And they're like, there's like 100 teeth in here. What? These aren't all mine. I'm like, 5 cents a tooth. Let's go. I don't know. No, but they don't know because they don't know. I mean, we do the glitter and stuff because she has glitter on her wings.
Wow.
Or if you're a fan of the
rub off in Ohio because it doesn't make its way to Michigan.
If you're a fan of the Santa Claus movies, it's a he because the Tooth Fairy was a he in that movie and one of two of those movies. But I don't know. she's in on this. So is it, the whole thing with like your parents stuff? I've been having so many moments of where like I'm like I would recall like I'll do something. I'm like, oh, I remember watching my dad do that when I was a kid, and I thought he was either it was like I thought he was so old, or I thought he was so like smart, or I like whatever. Like when I like the big thing is like when I figure out how to like fix something that I just never had to fix, like in my house, whatever it might be. I'm like it's something that in my mind I've always figured my dad probably has known how to do that forever, and I'm like, I wonder if my dad figured that out at 38 too, or if I'm just an idiot and didn't. Like, and I've never talked to him about that. I'm interested in getting a few drinks in him and talking to him because I've always felt like my dad was like way up there, like, and just knew all that stuff. And I'm like, I don't know that he did. Like, I wonder if, did you ever get that? Like, where you're like going like, oh, like I remember being a kid and knowing my parents at this age, like, and I felt like they knew everything and I don't know anything. Like, were my parents that freaking lost the entire time too? Because
I never had that. My parents didn't know shit.
I was in my senior year of college when my parents were the age I am right now. That's crazy to me.
You were senior year. Say that again.
I was a senior in college when my parents were the age that I am right now.
So your kids are okay.
So yeah,
that would be my son. My son's a senior in college, and we're the same age, aren't we?
Yep.
Yeah. So that would be.
Oh. So yeah, I remember my parents when I like 15 years younger than I am right now. Like it boggles my mind to think those sorts of things. Like I'm not old. I mean,
that's the whole thing is like, well, I don't know. I feel like just the way the world and society has changed, like we're old is much further down the road than it used to be. But like if you think about like when you were 20, you thought 30, 35 was like old.
Right. Yeah.
But then when you're 35, you're like, oh, like 50's old, but 35, like I don't feel old,
But I feel like I've had like multiple conversations with friends lately. This might be there's just the time too, but multiple conversations with friends about when they're retiring, and where I've had good friends of mine say, "Well, I have 2-3 years to retirement," and I'm like, "What?"
I got a buddy who retired 2 years ago.
What? Like, how are we that old? How are we that old?
Well, he was just really good with money, but that's not.
Okay, well then he doesn't count. I'm talking about normal people who can barely afford to retire, but are doing.
He was normal one time in our life.
So,
but it is crazy because there's like, someone who got it, can be working for 20 something years, 20 plus years at this point, and be
right, or people, or that kind of stuff blows my mind too. Like my grandfather was a post office worker, like a mail delivery person for, like 35 years or something. Like 35 years. That is crazy. That is a lot of time.
There's a lot of time
to be in one place.
Yeah, well, I just realized that like Amy and I are coming up on our 14th wedding anniversary this fall, and I was like, it seems like a really freaking long time. Now, I'm if you've been married long or whatever,
you are getting old, buddy. You are getting
for me, like I keep having these moments where I'm like, I'm not a kid anymore. Like, and I keep forgetting that because I act like a kid in a lot of ways. But
it's funny because I always most of the time when I'm talking to you, I feel like I think you're older than me, like way older than me. Like way older than me.
Who are you talking to? I hope you're talking to Jeff. Like, because you keep saying you, and I feel like you're looking at me.
Take it how you want it.
And we're going to have a problem. Like,
all right. So we're going to leave on that because we are a few minutes over, so we got to go. But we're going to let Mandy wonder for the rest of the night who Dave was talking. I'm pretty sure he was talking about. I think he was talking about me, Mandy.
I think it was too. He better.
But that's because like Dave, I think you're just so young. You're such a young.
There you go.
Such a young heart. I don't know. I don't know why that is. I feel old when I'll talk to some of the people that are on our team that are really young. Like, we've got a couple interns that are 20, and I'm like, that's really young, which is crazy. I got a guy, one of the masterminds that I run for business owners on Tuesday. Like one of the guy, he does work with parents to help them. It's actually a really cool product. Like it's a self-discovery for students to figure out where they should actually be going in college and stuff like that. And it's all around saving money for tuition, blah, blah, blah. But like he was showing us like a sales piece that he has. In the front picture is like a bunch of kids who are like high school kids, like seniors. and we were all of us in a group were like, whoa, I forgot how young, like 18, like they all look like little babies. Like are these sixth graders that are going to college? And that's made me feel old again. So I appreciate us continuing to feel old and Dave calling me old. So
yeah. My youngest is going to be driving soon. So
wow.
Like, and she so my youngest is adopted from Guatemala. So she's fairly vertically challenged. She's like, 5'1" or something. And so I look at her and I think, how can you be old enough? Like, you are not even tall enough to reach the pedals. You're going to be driving. And that means I'm so freaking old, and she reminds me all the time. Every time we go shopping, she's like, oh, Mom, yeah, you would totally wear that because that's totally something moms would wear. And I'm like, what does that even freaking mean? I don't even know what that means. Like, yes, I've been.
You know exactly what it means.
I know, but mom jeans are cool. So that inherently means that we're cool when we put on jeans because mom jeans are.
Mandy, I want you to just keep on telling yourself that and feeling good about it. That's where we're going to leave this. I want to really quick. This is how good this was. We're 6 minutes past time. Like, that's how awesome it is to have Mandy on here. So a couple things. One, hang around because now in 54 minutes, Dave's going to be back live with Caitlin for this is the last one. The last session of our Focus on a Focus. So that's tonight. And then, so just so everyone's aware, like that is then going to all be saved in a online course for free over at the teachbetteracademy.com. So that'll be launched. It'll probably be tonight or tomorrow morning that'll launch and be available there to go watch them all in order. So don't miss that tomorrow night. Teach Better Chat. We're still using both hashtags because we're still making that transition. So still the same format we've always had. Everything changes next week, but tomorrow night, Dave, do you know who's leading us?
Oh, yes, I do. My friend
Lavana Roth is leading us tomorrow night. We're talking about psychological safety is the key to achievement. That is the topic we're going on. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So that's tomorrow night. And then I don't remember who's live with her, but she'll be live tomorrow night with, I want to say, is it Ray? It might be Ray. And so that's going on. And Friday, which is the 14th, we've got our exclusive Facebook group event, which is free. You just have to join the Facebook group because that's where we're going to post the Zoom link and hang out all night on Friday at 8 o'clock Eastern time. So make sure you get into the group if you're not there and watch for that link so you can come have some fun with us. And then Sunday, Dave, you're back again on Sunday. You and Ray for the bi-weekly check-in and the admin mastermind recap.
I have no life, man.
It's just nothing but Dave on here. So
you guys could have denied that real quick. That was your.
Which, by the way, I know Marie was actually talking about something else, but I feel like that makes sense for all these times that Dave is live. So just for everyone watching. Anyway, Mandy, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out. For putting the effort in. You put the same amount of effort into your wardrobe as Dave does every week, and I appreciate that a lot. You put the hat on. It was great. It's Dave TV. Schmitto TV. And yeah, so then Dave and I'll be back next week as well, same time, same place. And we're gonna find like every now and then we're just gonna like randomly bring Mandy in and not tell anybody about it and talk about toes and teeth and coffees.
I have a great toe story the next time that I'm on. Like
we're gonna that's a perfect cliffhanger. We're gonna let everyone think about that.
Save that for tomorrow. No.
Oh, boo.
Okay.
That's no. So, all right. Appreciate y'all. Stick around or come back in about 50 minutes for Dave and Caitlin wrapping up Focus on Focus. We'll see you tomorrow night for Master Chat. Come hang out with us on Friday night for the Facebook group hangout, and then hang out with Dave again with Ray on Sunday for the biweekly check-in / mastermind recap. And make sure you follow Mandy everywhere if you're not already, and go hang out with her, show some love, throw her a gift card for McDonald's coffee, whatever. And we'll go from there. So, all right. I appreciate you, Mandy. Dave, you're here too, buddy. All right. Everyone have a good one. We'll see you guys.
Everyone.